Welcome back to your favorite small automotive YouTube channel, Enhancing Your Vehicle Ownership. I'm Nate, here to enhance your vehicle ownership. Guys, I'm embarrassed to be making this video today. I haven't driven or ran my 2004 F-150 FX4 in over a month. The poor truck has just been sitting there for probably a month and a half or 2 months. I did run it for a little while about a month ago, but it's just sat there since then. And today it's time to get it out and to run it and to take it out for a drive. And unfortunately, or fortunately for you guys, you get a video from it, because today I'm going to be talking about what you should do before starting and driving a car that has been sitting for a while, specifically a month or over. And if your car has been sitting for 3 months or more, then you need to follow a very special procedure before running it for the first time to prevent catastrophic engine damage or failure of your vehicle or of your car. Since I don't want to have to go through that, or I don't want that to happen to the truck, we're going to go out, get it running today. I'm going to show you guys the proper check procedure and the proper procedure to get everything going and moving for the first time in a long time, and help enjoy your guys' vehicle, or the vehicle that you have had sitting around for a while. Maybe it sat through the winter and maybe it's time to drive it again, like my pickup. And yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and jump out to the pickup and start getting it ready to go once again. Okay, so it really is embarrassing that I've let my truck sit for so long. Oh good, so the doors still unlock automatically, which probably means that we have some battery power. So I have a progressive meter in the truck right now, which I've been worried about it's going to drain the battery entirely. I mean, it sat for almost a month. I let the Audi sit for almost a month last year with the progressive thing in, and it killed it entirely. So something that you might need when starting a vehicle that hasn't been started in a long time is a jumper pack. Now, I brought my Stanley Fat Max out today because I want to do a battery check and an alternator check, so I can just ensure that everything's in proper working order. Now, next weekend we are going to be taking the truck on a road trip. We're not going very far. We're only going a couple hours away to visit some family. But when letting your vehicle sit for a long time, it is very annoying to try to get things running once again. So now this truck sat for about a month. It hasn't moved in 2 months, but I have ran it since then. So I'm going to first open the hood. I'm going to check my oil. That's probably the first thing that you should do. If your truck sat for a while but less than 3 months, check your oil. If it sat for more than 3 months, then you're going to have to jack it up and do an oil change and put a new oil filter on. Like most fluids, oil, transmission oil, coolant, brake fluid, all of that stuff goes bad if it's not being constantly used. Luckily, a month to 3 months isn't enough time for it to go bad, but it still is a good reason to check it, just in case while you've been gone something's happened and maybe all your oil's leaked out. You're not just going to start it up and seize up your engine. Now, I've already looked under the truck for leaks and I haven't seen anything, but I'm still going to check all of my fluids anyways. We're going to look at all the belts and hoses to see if they're cracking, broken, or loose, and fix them if necessary before starting it up. Once we get all of that done, we're going to go ahead and check the battery, maybe give it a jump if we need to, and we'll get to that point. Oh yes, and I forgot that we need to clear off all this snow first, so let me grab that. It looks abandoned with all the snow on it. Okay, it took me a lot longer than you'd think to get all that snow cleared off and finally get into the engine bay, but go ahead and check the oil here. Make sure it's still topped off. Yeah, it looks like we're good. I just changed this oil like 200 miles ago, so it really hasn't been that long in this oil change. Once you check your oil, you're going to want to check your brake fluid. We've got ours at max. My coolant is a little low. It's been low for quite a while. I need to add some, obviously, because it's not up here in the cold fill range. So I'll probably buy some and add some before we go to Grace next weekend. My power steering fluid's still good. That's up nice and high how it should be. And my windshield washer fluid's not important to how the truck's running, but it is completely empty because I froze it this winter time, and I hope that it didn't crack that reservoir because there was fluid in it last time I drove it, so we probably have some issue there. I'm not seeing any leaks or cracks, but well, that's something that I'll have to check by putting some new stuff in it. My light bar shorted out. I don't remember if I told you guys, but my light bar shorted out the last time I drove it. So I've pulled the fuse on that. We're going to have to rewire it most likely. And I'm just checking all the hoses and my belt here to see if there's any cracks in them. So everything's looking good fluid-wise. I'm going to go ahead and put my Stanley FatMax on now to check the battery status, however you want to say that. We've got 12.7 volts in the battery, so I'm going to say it's still good after sitting for a month and still having charge in it. So I'm going to go ahead and start the truck now. I'm not going to take this off because I want to do an alternator check. Once you get all of your fluids checked in your vehicle, and if your vehicle sat for more than 3 months, once you get your oil changed, or if it sat for years, once you get all of your fluids swapped out for new stuff, and gasoline included in that, if your truck sat for more than 6 months, you're going to need to drain your fuel tank and put new gasoline in it. If it's only sat for 3 months, then the gasoline probably isn't bad. It could be, so a fresh tank of gas wouldn't hurt, but where we've only sat for a month, I'm not too worried about the gasoline. So once I checked all of my fluids, I'm going to go ahead and put the key in the ignition and turn it to the on position for about 30 seconds to a minute. Because my truck's newer, it's a 2004, so anything 96 or newer will probably have an electric fuel pump in it. It'll go ahead and prime the system, and then we're going to go ahead and get it started up. I'm going to go ahead and give it its first crank over. If your vehicle that's been sitting for a while doesn't start on the first time, don't worry about it too much. Just go ahead and let it sit for another 30 seconds and then try it again. So here we go with the first crank on the truck that's been sitting for a month. My guess is it'll start up right away, but you never know. Yep, sure enough, she started up right away, and you can tell she's a little rough. Something's a little bit rough with the truck, but you have to remember that when your car sits, all of the oil at the top half of the engine sinks down to the very bottom, which is why it's super important that every time you start your vehicle or drive it, you let your car sit at idle for 1 to 2 minutes to get that oil worked up from the bottom to the top. And if it's cold, that warm-up time just increases to 5 to 10 minutes. Now, where this has sat for over a month, I'm going to go ahead and let it get up to operating temperature like you guys should as well. If your vehicle sat for 3 months or more, after you go through the whole startup procedure and you get it running, you need to let it sit until it's at operating temperature as well, which takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. This truck's usually about 10 minutes. But once I get this little needle from cold up to my middle line, which is operating temperature, then I'm going to go ahead and take it out for a drive. I'm going to go ahead and do an alternator check on the truck just to make sure that everything's charging at the right system voltage. So it says that our alternator is good, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Stanley FatMax off now. Alright, so we got the truck running. We're going to take it out for a drive, but we're first going to let it get to operating temperature. You can see we've had quite a bit of snow here. I got to get this off. I'll probably go get my snow shovel for it. So while it's warming up, I'm going to go get my snow shovel, clean that off. But something that you really need to do if your vehicle sat for a long time, especially if it sat for more than 3 months, is go ahead and go through and check all of your tire pressure. Now these are brand new tires and it's only sat for a month, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not actually going to check them. I'll check them next week before we take our road trip. But if your car has sat for a long time, make sure your tires are all at the same PSI or at the recommended pressure before you drive it. And if your car sat for 3 months or more, make sure you check your air filter as well. Sometimes you get little critters in there like mice and they can make a huge mess, and you don't want that getting sucked into your engine, so make sure you pull that out, clean it out if necessary, and replace it as needed. So you cannot believe the chunk of ice that I took off of the bed back there. Unfortunately, it stretched out my cover, so that's just some more payback, I guess, for letting this truck sit so long. Here on the 29th of February, unfortunately, this is the first time in all of February that I've had the truck out for a drive. Guys, I bought the car to learn on, to repair, to fix it up. Go check out my videos of my Audi A8 if you want to see everything I've done to it. But I also in part bought it so that I would quit putting so many miles on my truck. I was putting 5,000 miles a month on this vehicle, and now it's just been sitting. And so I think that having the car has actually kind of backfired in a sense that it's probably been hurting my pickup a little bit more than doing it good. It's just been sitting here. Like I said, I never drive it. I did a video last week of me listing the Audi on Facebook Marketplace. Yes, that was for real. The Audi is for sale. If you want it, come buy it from me, please. Take it off my hands. I think I'm ready to just start driving my FX4 around again and getting some content back out there on it for you guys to enjoy and to enhance your vehicle ownership with my baby, with my daily driver. Unfortunately, I'm gonna need four-wheel drive to get out of this mess. Oh my heck, those brakes are so bad. Well, it stops and it goes, so I think we'll take it out and see how it drives for a minute here. My windshield is so dirty from sitting. That's another thing that that I should add to my list of what to do, is to clean your windshield before starting your car, but that's probably before driving it. But yeah, it's super good to be back in the F-150. I'm going to get some more content out on it for you guys. I'm going to drive it a little more than I have, and I'm going to make some more videos about it. I know that my whole channel started around this truck, and then I've never really done but maybe 3 videos on it for you guys. So I apologize for that. More videos coming on my F-150 very soon. Hopefully I get the Audi sold very soon, and those brakes are so bad. And I'm excited to bring the new project car onto the channel for you guys coming very soon. I'm going to do it on a back-to-back-to-back week series, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, and I'll see you back at my apartment. I am back to my apartment, and yes, the brakes do feel real jittery now. It sounds kind of silly, but I wonder if one of my rotors have ice in them. And if you saw how deep the snow was that this truck's been parked in for 2 months, you might agree with me and think that that's probably the problem, because it was real bad when I started driving it. Drove it for about 20 minutes, and now it's not hardly there, but it is still there. So that's the purpose of test driving after you start up a vehicle that has sat for months, is to determine if there's any issues that might need to be worked out or checked on. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're back in, and to end it all, I want to do a quick recap for you guys on what you should do before starting a vehicle that has sat for a long time. So if your vehicle has sat for around a month or a month to 3 months like mine has, make sure you get out there, you open up the hood before doing anything, see if the battery is dead. If it's dead, start charging it right away. Check all of the fluids and make sure everything is topped off. Then go ahead and look at your belts and hoses, make sure that nothing is broken, cracking, or loose. Once you have done that and all of your fluids are topped off, your battery is fully charged, go ahead and turn the key to the on position and let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then go ahead and turn your car over. If it doesn't start the first time, don't worry. Go ahead, let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute before attempting it again. Your car should start and should be ready to go. But don't drive off right away. Remember that your car or truck has been sitting for a long time. Let your car get up to its proper operating temperature. It needs to be at operating temperature before you attempt to move your vehicle. Once your car does get up to operating temperature in 5 to 15 minutes, go ahead and take it out for a drive. I highly suggest that you drive it around for more than 5 minutes if you're just going to park it back and let it sit again. So if your car has sat for 90 days or 3 months or more, you need to do a complete oil and filter change to replace that fluid. If your car has sat for more than 3 months, let's say 6 months or more, you need to change your transmission oil and filter, you need to change your radiator coolant, and you need to drain and change your gasoline. Now, if it has sat for less than 6 months, then the gasoline in your car is probably old, and your car might run a little funny at first, but it'll work itself out. Go ahead and put some new gasoline in it to change that mixture. But if for some reason your gasoline is really yellow, it's smelling bad, then you need to replace it to get your car running properly once again. Also, check your battery. If it has sat for years, let's say, it's probably better just to get a new battery and replace it, because that old battery is not going to be good. If it sat for 3 months or more, you need to take the battery out of your car, your vehicle, and you need to charge it overnight. Put it back in, make sure it holds a charge, and will be good for you. Check all of the belts in your engine bay for cracks. If they're cracking at all, go ahead and replace them. They're going to be super brittle after 3 months of not being used. Also, check all of the hoses in your car for loose or broken hoses. If it's loose, tighten it up. If it's broken or has cracks in it, go ahead and get them replaced right away. The worst thing you want to do is make a hose brittle from having it sit for over 3 months and then put a ton of pressure on it and have that blow up on you or all over in your engine bay when you're driving it. So go ahead and check your hoses, get them fixed. Look for any major leaks or leaks that might have popped up from sitting. What happens is your engine has rubber seals in it, and if they just sit and they don't get lubricated, then your seals dry up and they shrink or they crack, and then it causes major leaks and thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars if you're lucky worth of repairs later on. So go ahead and look for those leaks before driving it. Also, check your tires. If your car has sat for years, your tires might be ruined. Look for any flat spots, bulging, or cracking on those as well before taking it out on a higher speed road or on a drive, so that you don't lose control or end up having a blowout or something like that. And again, if your car has sat for more than 3 months, then more than likely all of the joints, for example the ball joints or the tie rods or the U-joints on your vehicle, are probably dry and need lubrication, which is a bit of work. You're going to have to crawl under there and you're going to have to grease everything or lubricate everything to get it working properly. And I would highly suggest that you jack up each tire on your vehicle and check the brakes. Make sure that everything spins free, that there's no major leaks, that all of your brake fluid is topped off and everything like that as well. And then finally, before you get out and drive your car, make sure you check all the lights. Are they still working after sitting for so long? Let your car again warm up to operating temperature before driving, following the same procedure that I just mentioned to prime your fuel pump. And then if it has sat for more than 3 months, it is very important that you take your car out for a test drive to find or nail down any other issues that it might be having. If it's having an issue, get it into the shop, fix it right away so that you don't make anything worse. This essentially is how you go about starting a vehicle that has sat for 90 days, 3 months or more, or in my case for a month to 3 months. If your vehicle sat for a while, don't just get out and start it right up. That can cause engine damage, transmission damage, or damage to any system in your vehicle. It is important, if you have multiple vehicles, that you're out there, that you're driving them, not all the time, but often enough that they stay running properly and that they keep getting the proper lubrication, that it keeps your fluids good. Because if you don't, it can be a headache trying to get these things running once again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope this helped you out. If it did, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and give Evo Auto a huge subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time I upload new videos. I have regular videos on every weekend here to enhance your vehicle ownership, and I have midweek marketplace during the week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check them out. Thank you so much for your subscription. I hope you guys are doing great, and I'll catch you in the next video.